Thank you so much for giving your Friday evening to be with us. I realize that you're busy and time is valuable, but you have chosen to be with us tonight, and I believe that you're going to experience value tonight. You know, several weeks back when the coronavirus first hit, my heart immediately went out to pastors. It went out to churches, and I said, I want to do something to help churches. I want to do something to help pastors, because I knew that this was going to be an unprecedented time. I have pastored Rock Springs Church for 30 years, and I've never been through anything like this. And I know many of you can identify with what I'm saying. And I said, I want to bring somebody to help pastors. I want to bring somebody that can pour into pastors, pour into church leaders that can walk with us through this time. And I thought, I know the person. It's my dear friend, Sam Chan. Now here's what's interesting. Sam lives about 20 miles up the road from right where we're at, Rock Springs Church. But the blessing is he's 20 miles up the road. This man consults churches all over the world. We were just talking about a church that he consults, and I was pulling it out of him, that runs almost 200,000 people. Brother Sam has voted one of the top 30 leadership experts. One of the top 30 leadership experts. So every time I'm around him, I just get my pail under his well. So I said, what I want to do, I want to take questions from pastors. I don't know that I have the best answer, but I know somebody who does have a great answer. So Sam Chan, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming to Rock Springs Church tonight, and thank you for being willing to pour in to pastors and Christian leaders.
What a joy it is to be with you. And before we get into anything, I have known you for many, many years. What's happening right now is not what you do, it is who you are. I've known you as a pastor, I've known you as a friend, a brother, a denominational leader. I've known you as a major platform speaker. I've known you as an author. But in everything that you do, ever since I've known you, I remember the first time we met in Locust Grove, Georgia at a Burger King.
That's exactly right.
You know, because after that it can only go up, right?
That's right.
So we met there, probably a Whopper with cheese, onion rings or something like that. But even in that conversation, till now, your conversation is about how can I help others? You've helped me, you helped many other people. And so I just wanted everyone who is watching us, listening to us, to know this, that Pastor Benny Tate is not just a pastor, and this is not what he's doing, but this is who he is. He loves you, cares for you. Even before we were getting ready for this, he said, Sam, I really love pastors. I want to speak into their lives. I want to encourage them. And so during this time together, I just wanted you to know what a blessing you are, and what a gift you are to the kingdom. I'll just call you a benediction. A benediction is a blessing on people. So, because as people leave the church, you know, we pray a prayer of priestly blessing on them, call it a benediction. You're a benediction in our life. So before we got into the nitty-gritty in the woods, what is going on, what should be happening, should not be happening, I just wanted everyone to know he's a gift to the kingdom of God, and we honor you for that.
Well, Brother Sam, you're kind. You're very kind. You know, when the coronavirus started hitting and we started getting the reports, I felt like that I need to give people hope. And what I've been doing over the past 6 or 7 weeks, Brother Sam, if you'd listen to my messages, they probably all seem redundant. I mean, they probably seem like they're all running together, but I really felt like during this time that people needed hope. They needed encouragement. And what I've tried to do is just be I don't know that I've preached anything profound. I don't know that I've ever preached anything too profound, but I've tried to just give people encouragement. I've tried to give people edification, and I've just advised pastors that as they have contacted me, people need hope. People
Well,
need encouragement.
You know, the Bible tells us out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. In your heart is hope. In your heart is encouragement. In your heart is lifting people's faces and eyes up, straightening their shoulders, telling them they can do that. It's in your heart. So it's coming out of your mouth. And I don't think these are days for profundity. This is not days for deep stuff. This is days to say, God is on the throne. This did not catch him by surprise. He knows what it is. He could have placed us on this planet at any time in history, in the past or the future. He chose us to place us on planets for such a time as this. So he knows something about us. He
Sure he
trusts
does.
us, right?
Sure he does.
He trusts us and he's resourcing us. He's sovereign God. And so your message of hope is really the message at this time. And so don't hold back. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Well, and there was a quote, Brother Sam. I'd like to just say there was a scripture that's been paramount, but more throughout all this, there's been a quote, and it was a quote by Einstein. And he said, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. I wake up with that, Brother Sam. I go to bed with that. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. And Brother Sam, I think we have some opportunities like we have never had before. Before you and I came up, we were talking, and you shared with me some things that are happening in churches, some opportunities that actually have never been there before. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Churches, I believe, are going to come out stronger on the other side. You know, people keep talking about when we get back to, there's no getting back to. I'm calling it rechurch. I mean, that's just some stuff I made up. I'm just calling it rechurch. You know, not something like rebirth, but it's a rechurch. It's going to be full of brimming opportunities. But opportunities are only good for people who seize the opportunities and are willing to go the distance. You seize the opportunity and go the distance. Everyone has opportunities, but not everyone seizes the opportunity. A lot of people argue with opportunities. So, for example, every church is an online church now, right?
Yes.
And every church is a multi-site church now, because you know we're meeting in home.
Sure.
And every church is technology, not technology based, technology ingrained into everything they're doing, right? Now, question is, were those opportunities there before this happened? Of course they were there.
Sure.
But many of us were busy discarding them. Many of us were really down on online church. Could not have that. You know, how can we do that? And the same leaders now are not only doing it online, but they are promoting it online,
Yes.
saying, go online.
Yes.
Now, that's just an example to say opportunities are all around us. But not everybody seizes the opportunity because we are so busy arguing with what will work. Well, should we go multi-site? Shouldn't we? Now, every church is multi-site. Should we go online? Well, every church is online. Should we receive offerings electronically? Every church is receiving electronic offerings now. And the same opportunities, but different opportunities are now available during this time. And I think there are many people who are going to seize those opportunities, and some are not. You were telling me a little while ago how the number of salvations have gone up.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So tell us about, so tell us, what are you doing that you're seeing actual numbers? I mean, you're not just...
Sure. Brother Sam, I started something a couple of weeks ago. It's very simple. I would share the gospel, of course, and share how people could come to faith in Christ, and I would lead them through the sinner's prayer. And then after that, I'd never done this, but I would say, you're at a device. It's obvious you're watching. You're at a device. And I would say, if you would respond with just 4 simple words, and I'd literally take my hand, I'll say, I prayed that prayer. I said, now, you're not doing this for me. You're doing this for you. It will give affirmation, it will give confirmation, it will give consolation. I promise you, you'll feel better after you do it. And Brother Sam, over the last 2 weeks, we've had 190 people to respond. Just, I prayed that prayer. And we're able to get that contact, and we're able to follow up with those people. When this first started, I don't know if you, well, I know you remember, I called you. You were the first person I called. And I said, Brother Sam, talk to me. And you said, remember, Pastor. One word. You said, there's one word you've got to remember, Pastor Benny. I said, give it to me. You said, engagement. Engagement. You have to engage the people. So Sam, from that conversation in my office, I just started now, what are some handles? What are some handles on how we can engage the people? You know, for example, we had communion. We had the Lord's Supper. Now, I was very transparent. I said, hey, if you want to use grape juice, orange juice, if you want to use Diet Mountain Dew, if you want to use a soda cracker, it matters not. But if we tried to go into the homes, and when I say go to the homes, we would go to the mailboxes, Brother Sam, and we would put communion supplies. We would put communion supplies for as many as we could, you know. And we just, because what we were doing, we were engaging the people. And then we celebrated. I stood right there. People were online, all these campuses, as you say, and we celebrated the Lord's Supper together. And I have found, like, just looking for ways. You know, you taught a lesson years ago. I never will forget it. You taught about a squirrel. I'll never forget. You taught this lesson from how to stay. It's a great lesson, Brother Sam, about how to stay innovative. How do you keep your organization innovative? And you took that little acrostic squirrel, and you said that S stands for scarcity.
Yes.
And you talked about how scarcity can create creativity. And what I've learned, just simple things like staying engaged. I've got a bracelet right now on, and it's entitled it's written on it, Faith Over Fear. We just got these, and we want to get these to people. It may be in their mailboxes. Brother Sam, we've gone out to people's homes. Our pastors have. We knock on the door. We don't go inside. And we stand there and say, we just want to check on you. And we're praying for you. Some of my worship team have taken guitars, and they may sing a song. And it's been such a blessing, especially to a lot of our senior adults. Again, I've taken that one word that you said, engagement. You've got to stay engaged. And Brother Sam, what would you say to, you know, the pastor who's pastoring a small church? He or she's pastoring a church that's relatively small, and how would you say to them some plans for staying engaged?
Absolutely. So the good news is, because of online church, there's no big church and small church anymore.
That's right. It's a great point.
Every church is level. So you're on Facebook. I've got 75 people in my church. I'm on Facebook.
Yes.
You're on Instagram, I'm on Instagram. You're on Twitter, I'm on Twitter. You're on YouTube, I'm on YouTube. You're on your website, I'm on my website.
Sure.
So when it comes to online and media, it has become a level playing field. So I think the opportunity lies for a pastor, like if I'm pastoring 75 people, is to take the word, I am just a small church pastor. I would just take those words out and say, I'm a pastor.
Amen.
Because at this time, the opportunities are the same. You are on Facebook and I'm on Facebook. You have no more leverage with Facebook than I do.
That's exactly right. That's correct.
You know,
that's correct.
So now what happens, the opportunity for me though, is how I think about my message. How I think about the length of my service, how I think about doing snippets rather than 15 minutes of praise and worship, and then you're going to lose people and you preach for 45 minutes. You're gonna, it's
Sure.
hard enough to keep people's attention when they're 10 feet away from you. They're asleep on the front row. They're clipping their nails. They're texting to somebody. So it's hard enough to do that.
Right.
It's harder in person. So the opportunities are, how are you thinking about how you're doing your services?
Right.
You thought the genius of having more salvations is the opportunity was to simplify,
Yes.
not to make it more complex, more complicated. So the genius is to simplify. So that's the opportunity for small church pastor, large church pastor, because no one's going to buildings right now.
That's right.
So you could be in a church that seats 10,000 people, or you could have your sanctuary that seats 100 people. At this point, that's a moot point. It does not matter. Your parking lot does not matter. Your lighting, your sound system, your worship team, none of that really matters. What matters is how you're thinking about, there's your word again, the opportunity that you have.
Yes.
And the opportunities are not something that you do. They are a result of how you think.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think a certain way, your opportunities become more obvious to you. So I would say to all the small church pastors,
Yes.
listen, don't let anything hold you back. Go after it. You have
Yes.
an opportunity right now to be an equal opportunity communicator. Let's put it like that. You don't have to say, well, I can only seat 100 people, or I'm just a country church, or I just have a small parking lot, or I don't have a budget for this. You are the same. And I think that's what I would like for you to know, is to ask yourself, what opportunities do I have? Is equal playing field right now, and how can I take field advantage of that opportunity that I have in my life right now?
That's gold. That's gold. Brother Sam, I think something else that we have done well that seems to have helped people during this time. Normally, I would preach on Sunday morning. I would preach 3 times at 8, 9:30, and 11. When all of this came about, I started doing something. Of course, everything's online, as you well know. But I started doing a Wednesday evening prayer meeting. A Wednesday evening prayer meeting. It's not long. The entire we'll have a few songs, but the whole deal is 30 minutes. Wednesday evening prayer meeting. And we've got tremendous response. We've got tremendous response from our people. Our people have said it's been so encouraging to see the pastor. During this time, it's been encouraging. And I feel like frequency has been important to us. Even with my church staff, on a regular basis, I'm keeping my church staff abreast of right where we're at. I'm convinced people are down on what they're not up on. Somebody said you always got to be positive. I'm not even sold on that. I think you've always got to be honest, and you've got to be hopeful. But I think people want to hear the facts. I think so. Here at Rock Springs Church, I think just the frequency of things, the frequency of communication, seemingly has helped us during this time. Have you found that to be true with other churches?
Absolutely. And there again is how you are thinking about the opportunity. So we are created to be gregarious. We are created to be in fellowship. Let me try to explain it 2 different ways.
Yes.
If you want to punish a prisoner in a jail or a prison, apart from the capital death sentence, isolation,
Yes.
is the highest form of punishment. So hold that thought. We are sheltered in place, creating isolation. Go with me to the Garden of Eden, where God creates Adam and Eve. And when He creates Adam and Eve, till then He says it is good, it is good, it is good, it is good, it is good. But once He has made Adam, He says, it is not good that man be alone.
It's true.
So the first negative comment in the Bible is in the context of relationship or isolation. Adam was in isolation, hence Eve. Not good. Isolation in our present penal system, isolation in the Garden of Eden. So we are created to be people of fellowship. We are created to be, as human beings, we are created to be gregarious. Because of the context that we're in right now and social distancing,
Right.
we can't do that.
No.
Hence, the frequency becomes so paramount over there. Because in a time like this, people need to hear the pastor's voice, see the pastor's face. Hear the pastor's voice, see the pastor's face. And you're providing that. So it is not the length of the prayer meeting. It may not even be the content of the prayer meeting, but it's the very thought of the prayer meeting
I agree.
that is transformational. So we are all home. We can't go to church,
Right.
but now church is coming to us.
Right.
And we can participate in that. And the good news is, you don't have to participate only that one time, because as you are doing here at Rock Springs, that is, service is available. If somebody wants to watch it Friday morning,
Yes.
Saturday night, they can watch it anytime. And so it's a prayer meeting, and you can go to the same prayer meeting 5 different times.
That's exactly right.
And people are doing that.
They
There's
are.
no doubt in my mind people are doing that. So one of the things that I want to ask you is, during this time, you have a whole church, you've got thousands of people that come here. And so there's the people who come once in a while. Then there are people who come regularly.
Sure.
Then you have volunteers. Then you have your staff. Then you have your board elders, how you govern. How are you reaching? In some cases, you're reaching all of them. But I also know that in some cases, you're reaching different layers
Right.
in different ways. And I think it'll be important for pastors to know how you are thinking about one message may not fit everyone, and how you are messaging to different groups, and how are you keeping them up on things.
Of course, Brother Sam, we have the Sunday morning, which is going out to everybody. We have the Wednesday night, but then I'm basically doing it through my staff and my deacons.
Okay.
My staff are basically, I'm a voice to the staff, and then I'm a voice to my church board, and then my staff members would be more of a voice to my people, to my individual families. A lot of what we're doing is through just phone. We're calling. We're just making sure people are okay. We're just, we found that just touches. We found, Brother Sam, that if we just take something small, like here inside this is a little something that was made with candy in it. And we found if we just knock on a door, put it in a mailbox, and just more than anything, check on people to make sure they're okay. It reminds me of that little story that the lady was in line one day. She was in line one day to get some stamps. She was at the post office. And they said to her, "You don't have to stand in line. There's an automated machine over here. Put your money in and give you stamps." And she said, "That automated machine won't ask me about my arthritis." People want to know somebody's asking about their arthritis. So I told my staff from day one, I said, we're going to have the service. We're going to have the Bible study. We're going to have worship collective on Thursday. I said, that's going to be the width of our ministry. That's the width. That's the width. The thousands will be touched through the width. But I said, you remember, the depth of my ministry staff is going to be with you. The depth is you, because you're going to help me touch these people. So basically, Brother Sam, that's what we've done. We've just really, when all this broke down, Brother Sam, I said to our staff, we're going to have to work harder now than we did before.
No doubt.
And the staff at Rock Springs Church have done that. They have worked harder during this time, my 30 years of pastoring here, than they have ever worked before. And just letting people know that we care about them. And it does so much. Brother Sam, was it Mary Kay Ash, the home interior lady, who said that Sam has a necklace around his neck and Benny has a necklace around his neck. And that necklace says, make me feel good about myself. Make me feel good about myself. And so we just want people to know that we care, we love you. I've tried to be real expressionary with my people while I'm speaking, of just letting them know how much I love you, that I miss you.
You know, a number of sentences back, 2 paragraphs ago, you said, we are basically doing, that word basic is foundational in these times. We have to go back to basics. I'm saying to large church pastors and small church pastors right now, think about when you started your church, if you
Yes.
started church, or if you took a church, succeeded another pastor. What are the basic things you did? You connected with people. You called people. You prayed with people.
Yes.
You asked them about personal things in their life. How's your arthritis?
Sure.
You were always trying to affirm and add value to people. The necklace around your neck, make me feel better about myself. The basics. So this is not the time for bells and whistles. This a basic message, a basic way of thinking, saying, so what do people need? Goes back to your word, hope.
That's right.
What do people need? They need community. They need somebody's out there. I'm not by myself. I'm not alone. What they need is a knock on the door.
That's exactly right.
And the knock on the door may have a little, still got candy in it.
Exactly.
I might have some of that after this.
Yes.
Yeah. So it is just those basics that you are doing, that when you say it's a 30-minute, it's really more than 30 minutes, because you can never measure impact. You can measure the time, but you cannot measure the impact that going along with that. So people, pastors especially, that we're talking to tonight, have opportunities. I tell you what you could do. You could just make 3-4 phone calls to maybe people in your church that you respect, that have good thoughts, that have good suggestions, good solutions, and ask them a simple question. Hey, during this time, what ministry opportunities do we have? Because there are people who are thinking about opportunities. I want to give you an example. Have you ever gone to a grocery store? It is 5:30 in the afternoon. Everybody is there. You are standing with your buggy, and there are just lines waiting to check out. Have you not stood back there and said to yourself, if I was in charge of the store, I would do this, I would do that, I would do that. Is that not true? Have you not seen solutions when nobody else saw solutions? And you're standing there saying, I tell you what, I would do with this lane, and I would do that. I'd move that person from there to there. I'd open that lane. You're not even an expert in traffic movement, but you have figured out, because you have solutions. So don't carry this burden by yourself, Pastor.
Amen.
This is an opportunity, that word engagement. Hey, Sam, what ministry opportunities do we have? Hey, Susie, what opportunities do we have? Because when you get that engagement, it is the very same people who are giving that opportunity who might lead that opportunity.
It's good.
So you may not even have to go looking for new leaders or give it to a staff person if you have staff. If you don't have staff, you run by volunteers. But when people are home, they are thinking about, I could do this, I could do that. You're thinking about the wristband. So people are coming up with these ideas. I want to tell you, Pastor Benny taught people to be generous, but he didn't come up with these ribbons and the box and the candy in it.
No.
Somebody else had that idea. So this will be a great time for you to say, I'm going to call 4 people and simply ask them, everyone's going through a difficult time. What ministry opportunities do we have? How can we reach people? And it can be as meaningful as this. There's nothing simple about this. It is very, very meaningful. And so what I'm saying to you is, engage people in your churches to be part of the solution, to be part of the future. And here's the good news. when you re-church on the other side, those things can continue. Because now you become a high compassion, high community church. People are thinking the word other. They're thinking beyond themselves. They're thinking about ministry opportunities. So the opportunity in this time is for us to change the way we have thought about church. And instead of being ingrown, now the church can make that impact. Pastor Benny, I am convinced the church is more impacting now than ever.
I believe that.
I believe that the church, the re-church, is going to be stronger and larger than ever.
I believe
I
that.
also know this, that more people, just like in your testimony here, more people are coming to the Lord as their personal Savior at this time than ever before. There are opportunities all around us.
Brother Sam, I totally agree. I believe that the best days of the church are ahead of us.
Totally.
Think about this, Brother Sam. We've got 7 billion people on the planet, maybe better than 7 billion. Jesus Christ was here, there was, 250 million? We got better than 7 billion? So that's a reason we've got more people. We've got more people to reach. The second reason why I believe the best days of the church are ahead of us, we've got greater technology than we've ever had before. We're doing things that we could never do before. And then, Brother Sam, the third reason why I believe the best days of the church are ahead of us, He said in the last days, I'll pour my Spirit out upon all flesh. Upon all flesh. Oh, we're not talking about Methodists, Baptists, Pentecostals. I'm talking about all flesh. And I believe there's going to be an impartation. This could be the third great awakening in America.
No doubt.
It could be. Brother Sam, now, I knew we were coming tonight, and I knew we were going to, be addressing, and the calls that have just been burning me up. It's pastors who just, when I say burning me up, I'm glad they called, but they've just been most frequent, is, Benny, what about reopening? What about reopening? And the illustration that I've given, and I think every pastor, every man or woman have to look at their individual situation. They have to look at, you can't comparatively with somebody else. You're a unique, there's a reason why you're somewhat autonomous. You're a unique church. And I gave this illustration. I said, if you've got a plane coming in, if it's a big plane, you're going to need a big runway. You're going to need a big runway to land. You're going to need a big runway to take off. And planes are different sizes. And churches are different sizes. And so I've just encouraged pastors to look at your geographics, look at your demographics, look at everything involved, and hey, get some people involved. Get some of your wise leaders, some of the people in your church to help you make that decision. What would you say to those? And certainly we have government regulations that we want to follow. We want to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. What would you say to those pastors about reopening, Brother Sam?
That is the question right now. How are we going to reopen? So a few thoughts about that. One is every church is going to remain a hybrid church. There's no such thing as we're just going to do in person now and online or reaching people outside is going to be secondary to that. It's going to be just like this. Every church is going to be a hybrid church. It's going to be an in-person and virtual digitized church. So every program that you do, all the way from your worship experience to your children, to your youth, to your seniors, to your singles, to your small groups, whatever, all that you do will have to be both. So first of all, that every church is going to be a hybrid church. Number two is it's going to be a long time before people sit shoulder to shoulder in your church again. Just know that. It's going to be a reduced seating. Whenever I'm talking to pastors, I'm suggesting no more than 30% of your sanctuary space is going to be utilized with people sitting. They'll be sitting in clusters. So there'll be an individual sitting by herself or himself. There'll be a family of 5 sitting over here in clusters. There will be a couple, just 2 people who live together. They'll be together by themselves. And you'll have to rearrange the furniture in your church because optics, it's everything. So when people walk into church for the first time and they just see your sanctuary set the same way it was to begin with, and then you're saying to people, distance yourself. Now, if you have pews, you cannot do this. But if you have chairs, you'll have to remove 70% of your chairs, rearrange your chairs into 2 here, 1 here, 5 there, 7 there. So when people come in, it will be looking totally different than what it looked like at one time. So as soon as they walk in, they know that you cared, that you were observant, that you were wise, that you made room for them, you were thinking about them. You will also have to go to multiple services. I know some of you may not want to do that, but that's the only way to accommodate. So if you had 100 people coming to your church, and now you're down to 30 people that you can accommodate because of your seating, then you'll have to have at least 2, maybe 3 services, at least for a while. So it will not be a grand opening. It will be weeks of openings. And you'll make adjustments as you go along, as people get more and more comfortable with that. So what's going to happen is, so if you go from 1 service to 3 services, people have to RSVP for those services. People have to let you know that they are coming to a certain service. So let's just say there's a service at 8, 9, and 10. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock service. What's going to happen is people will get information on that and whatever media that you are reaching out to your people, and then they are going to say, I'm going to come with my family of 5 people to 8 o'clock. And then say, all you can seat is 30 at that time. So once you reach 30, you close that service, and now people have to go to the other services. And the reason I'm saying, and I know I'm in the weeds right now, but the reason I am there is, if you don't do that, you're going to create a problem for yourself. So if all your setup is for 30 people and 50 people show up, you have created your own problem. And there's no need in doing that. So there's going to be a system for it. You got to think through. You got to think through how people, which doors people are going to come in from, which doors people are going to be leaving from because of social distancing. You got to think about how everything will have to get cleaned down and disinfected. Every doorknob, every bathroom sink, every toilet handle. And I know I'm going too much into detail. All I'm trying to do is to help you think through that it'll not be an opening day. There'll be opening days, and it'll take a whole lot of people to really make it happen. And the more details you can think about, the better off you'll be. So it is important for you to not try to get in a hurry to get there. Please understand that. Don't be in a hurry to get there. Be careful. Be cautious. Just because you can doesn't mean you do. And then, like you said, it's not just the size of the church, it is the demographic of your church. If you got a lot of elderly people in your church, that creates a scenario for you to now say, I'm going to wait on this one. Because let me tell you, if you don't wait on it, they will wait on it.
It's exactly right.
And so why do you want to position yourself? You got to ask yourself, do I want to start the first 2-3 weeks with families, and then move from there into children's ministries and youth ministries to go to different places? Because the more square footage that you'll be using in the first few weeks, the more work you've got to do to make sure it is how it's supposed to be according to regulations. So there are a lot of details that will have to go into. And in your case, can you give us some idea as to what you're thinking?
Well, Brother Sam, I have thought about even some of the logistics of some of the things, even as we go back to church. Like, for example, if you have screens in your church, many churches today have screens. Probably be best just to put your announcements on the screens, not pass out a bulletin. Put your announcements on a screen. I know here normally at Rock Springs Church we would pass offering plates. Well, We don't want to do that. We don't want all the people touching the same plate. So we'll probably have something, at the doors, something large that people want to get in, so they don't have to touch anything. So I would say, to a pastor, if I could give a word, I wouldn't push the envelope. I would probably err on the side of being cautious.
Absolutely.
Let's look and see what's happening, and we've got businesses that are opening up right now. We can look and see what's happening with some of the restaurants and some of the business and some of the workplace, because I do agree. I don't want the church place to hurt the workplace.
Exactly.
So I would just say to that pastor to be cautious. Brother Sam, I want to thank you. Listen, to take this night, and when I called you and asked you, would you come and do this, you didn't stammer. Talking about having a heart for pastors. I mean,
I'm just honored to be here, because then I can partner with you. I know how many pastors you serve. I know your heart of generosity. You're not trying to sell anything. You're just saying, here we are. And so can I ask, if I was a pastor out there and I just wanted someone to maybe talk to somebody on your staff, not necessarily, you're a very, very busy person leading a big, so how would I, if I wanted my children's pastor who is wondering, how will we restart children's ministry? So how do we contact you, just so that we can get some help from your people?
Brother Sam, I mean this. I want every pastor, no matter the size of your church, any staff person to know, we are here for you. A big part of Rock Springs Church, we do a conference called Defy the Odds. And we just want to help other churches. I'm talking about the capital C church. My greatest enjoyment in life is helping other people succeed. I love to help churches. And Rock Springs Church, that's been our passion. So if you're a children's pastor, you're a youth worker, you're a worship leader, contact us. We'll listen. We don't want to sell you anything, but I do want to share anything that we have with you. That's the heart. That's my heart. That's our church's heart. So when you win, we all win. And so we want to do that, Brother Sam.
Absolutely. And I want to say to all the pastors, stay encouraged. God chose you for such a time as this. He trusts you. He knew you'd be here. There's nothing easy about this time, but this is what I know. Everything that you have desired in your heart is waiting for you on the other side. Because in many ways, we're a whiteboard with no writing on it. In many ways, you can do so many things. So I want to give you 2 challenges before he kicks me out of here. 2 challenges. And I want to call them, one is leadership, the other is opportunities. Leadership and opportunities. One of the things that you have discovered, Pastor, is that during this time, people who are not even on your radar have percolated to the top. There were some leaders you thought were all that. You found out they're not all that. And then there were some people that you didn't even know, but now they are in a different place. People that were not in the decision-making meetings are now sitting in the decision-making meetings. People that you used to tell, this is what I'd like to see done, now you're asking them, can we do this? As I'm talking to you, there are camera people laughing on the floor right now because we used to say, hey, this is what we want you to do. And now we say, is it any way possible we can do this?
Amen.
So we have moved from telling to asking for permission. All that to say, there are new leaders percolating. You need to do 3 things with them. So I'm talking about under leadership. In a moment, I want to talk about opportunities. 3 things with them. Discover, develop, deploy. Discover, develop, deploy. So you're discovering the new leaders. Keep your eye on them. Develop them now. This might not be the time for you to go wide, but it's definitely a time for you to go deep. So go deep with vision, go deep with mission, go deep with values, go deep with culture, go deep with development, we go deep with social skills, go deep in the way people think, expand their thinking. So you discover, you develop, and when research happens, you can deploy them then.
Yes.
So that is leadership. Under opportunities, I want you to do 3 things again. Ask yourself a question. What do I start? What do I stop? And what do I sustain? Start, stop, sustain. Start, stop, sustain. So, in these times, you have started doing things you had never done before. You have started programs that you've always wanted to. There are things inside of you. So one of the things that we have been talking about, the thing that the vocabulary words for us are, I am in shelter in place. Lockdown, shelter in place. Just because we are physically in sheltering mode or lockdown does not mean that our dreams and our visions have to be that.
Amen.
They can continue to grow and generate. So ask yourself, what do I want to start? Start something. Number 2 is, I started a magazine, an actual magazine during this time. So what can you start? Number 2, what do you need to stop? There are many things in your church, pastor, you've been trying to stop. And you know they are on life support right now. Just pull the plug.
Amen.
Be done with it. This is a great time for you to stop, because that what you're not stopping is taking your attention, your energies, your time, your resources, your people, your facilities from what can be more productive. And number 3 is, what do I sustain? What do I continue? Because once you know that, you can pay attention to it, you can help plan that, you can get people behind it, money, facilities, and all the resources that are needed that. So, leadership, discover, develop, deploy. Opportunities, what do I start, what do I stop, and what do I sustain? And I want to thank you, sir.
Brother Sam, let me do one other thing. Brother Sam was talking about the fact that Pastor Benny, he's not asking you for anything. He just wants to pour into you, and he is exactly right. I want to pour into you so much tonight, pastors. Church leaders, I want to pour into you so much tonight. I want to give you a free book, but it's Sam Chance.
You pulled a fast one there.
Brother Sam, how can the leaders, how can the people get a free book tonight?
Okay, so I will double that offer.
Okay.
I didn't see this one coming, but that is the quintessential Benny Tate. You know, just when you thought that it was safe to put your wallet away, oh no, there'll be a third offering in this service. So he's going for the third offering. So I'll give you 2 offers. One is, I have a book called 52. 52 is 52 devotions, 52 lessons on leadership. It's got the 52. It's 224-page book. I can give it to you free of charge if you want to text. You ready? If you want to write it down, or we'll show you a slide later on. And the text is going to be the number is 33777. And text the word Tuesday, 33777. And the word Tuesday, and you'll get you'll pay for shipping and handling, but the book is free. But what I'm really excited about, I wasn't even thinking about this, Pastor Ben. What I'm really excited about is my leadership program at whatever you can pay price. So let me explain that to you. It's a 12-month program. One of my books comes to you digitally, one a month. And then there are 4 videos that support that book once a week on a regular basis for 12 months. At the end of 12 months, you'll have read 12 books, watched over 50 videos, and receive a certificate in leadership of completion. Now, we have been selling that program all over the world. Thousands of people are part of it for $2,000 a person for a year. During these COVID days, I met with my team and asked them, what can we do? People are home. They're tight. Money is tight. How can we still resource them? And so here's the deal. I'm going to give you a website in a moment. If you go to it, No questions asked. You put in your price you want to pay, and that'll be it. You'll be in. Whatever you want to pay. Here's the website. samchandleadership.com/COVID. COVID. samchandleadership.com/COVID. And you'll be in. You name your price. It retails for $2,000. You say, I'll do 100. That's cool. No questions asked. 12 books, over 50 videos, and it'll develop your leadership. So, pastor, you can do this not just for yourself, but you can share this information with every church member that you have. All your deacons, all your elders, all your board, all your staff, every church member, because it is all digitized and it'll be a blessing to you. So, thank
Amen.
you. Yeah, I mean, this is an opportunity to really sow into good ground. And I believe the pastors watching us tonight are nothing but exceptional ground.
Amen. I know this, Brother Sam. When the leader grows, everyone wins. God bless you. Thank you for joining us tonight. We love you. We're praying for you. Again, if you need anything, feel free to contact Rock Springs Church. We'll see you soon.